everybody. Hope your Christmas was fantastic. Hope you're looking forward to some good plans for the new year, 2019. With the new year comes some big changes for myself and the Nomadic Fanatic channel moving forward. And today I'm here to share with you the news that I have officially joined an RV membership club. Something that if you'd asked me if I was going to do years ago, I would have just laughed and scoffed and said, no, I'm a boondocker. I want to talk about some of the reasons why I joined a club, some of the perks, but most importantly, I want to share the information that I can't find any other YouTube review channel talking about. So, the good, the bad, and the ways around some of those rules and tricks to make it work for you that have not been explained by anybody else. But the surprises are really going to probably surprise you because they surprised me. So, let's start from scratch and say you know nothing about Thousand Trails Camping Pass. Real quick, obviously, but why would you pay an upfront fee for camping in the future? Well, first of all, this is not a discount card, so it's not like Good Sam's or AAA that gives you 5 or 10% off your camping trip. This is a camping package that you purchase either in one lump sum for 12 months or a year, or you can also split it into monthly payments to have paid camping reservable for the future. Ballpark price right now, they're charging $575 for 1 year membership. Currently, there's a promotion right now that gives you, I think this is until the end of the year, $100 off that, so I paid $475 for my first zone, and we'll get more into the zones and what's going on. Actually, let's start with this map. I'm going to flash a map up on your screen right now. As you can see, basically around the outer edges of the United States, those are the campgrounds that are available through Thousand Trails. Immediately, if you're in Montana or Wyoming or Colorado, you're going to say, what the heck, Eric? That's terrible. That's really strange, right? Yeah, I will admit, those are very strange, and they skip certain states for some reason. Looks like Florida is a great one to have, and back home, my original home, Washington State, has a lot of campgrounds included there too. It is kind of strange why so many places, I mean, it's a very unique a map zone of campgrounds available through this membership. And I think initially you really have to base all of your research on whether or not you're going to be to any of these areas. If you're going to stay in the Midwest there, or even in the center of the country, this probably isn't going to work for you. But if you like to go explore some of these campgrounds, or most importantly, if you are a nomad full-time RVer and you're definitely going to be to several of these zones in 1 year, then it's definitely going to pay itself off. Now I want to talk a little bit about how the color coordinated on the map, what that means to your membership and what you're buying, because for that $575 or $475, you're only going to get all of the dark brown sites, not the light brown and not the blue just yet. More on that in just a minute though. Backing up though, why this would be worth it to someone like me is $575. We're talking about some of these Florida and Arizona and California resorts that are $80 a night. Some of the ones in southern Florida, $120 a night for those resorts. So in just between 9 and 11 nights per year, you will have made back that $575 easy. And I'm talking about a full-timer like me or someone who really likes to travel, doing as much as maybe 180 nights a year. Okay, and then it becomes really profitable. I strongly urge you to do just as much research as I do. And I mean, I have been researching blogs and watching so many YouTube videos for 2 months now researching. I thought I knew all of the information going into this, and sadly, I did not have all of the information because there's still some fine print in there that does not make sense. So, let me break it down to you in this sense. Essentially, for the $575, you're only going to get Thousand Trails campgrounds, or the dark brown ones. To add the extra ones, like you see the palm tree blue in Arizona there, in Florida, and southern Texas, and some of the other ones, it's an extra add-on for $199 a year. So $575 plus $199 for the Trails Collection add-on, or what everybody else calls the Encore campgrounds. That's what I'm at right now. I am at an Encore Resort. It's about $86 after tax a night to stay here at this resort. And it's called a resort. I will probably show you some more of this here later, but everything from a workout room to a bingo hall. There's mini golf here, there's a pool, there's a sauna, there's mail services up front. You really do get some really good perks with resorts. I'm not really going to use those for just one night though, so we'll talk more about how many nights I'll be spending at these along the way. But I think it is essential to get the Trails Collection add-on. So now we're looking at possibly $775 a year for that, and that's just one zone. There are 5 available zones, but you can add for $49 other zones, and you can add those any time throughout the year. The problem is, if you wait till the 10th month of your membership to add like the Northwest, you're still only going to get 2 months out of that before it renews with your regular membership. So if you know you're not going to go to some of these areas, I wouldn't buy the extra add-on zones. For me, it's just worth it. So right now, I paid, just doing my math here, $870. I paid that up front, out of pocket. So again, I'm not being sponsored by 1,000 Trails. I don't have to say anything nice or anything. I just wanted to try it out. That's with the Trails Collection added to it and all 5 zones added to it and a $100 discount. I think that's good till the end of December as well. However, there were some surprises right off the start. First of all, I go to make my first reservation, and this is about an hour after I got my membership. All of a sudden, like 9 of them in a row, I'll flash something up on your screen, but 9 of them in a row all have AQ, AQ, AQ. The heck does AQ mean? Well, I can't reserve those, and I didn't know why, so I called 1,000 Trails to say, what does AQ mean? Well, it means age qualified. All of these parks are only for 55 years or older and no children. And nowhere in the fine print does it tell you which areas are going to have the AQs, how many of the ones they say you're qualified for, but you're really not because they're age qualified instead, and they can change them at any time. So next year, it's possible that every single resort in Florida could be age Q. Now, honestly, not everyone is. I would say about half of them in Florida, and it looks like about half of them over in Arizona near Quartzsite as well are also age qualified, 55 plus only parks. That was kind of a surprise. The other surprise is the Trails Collection or Encore package add-on compared to the 1,000 Trails normal ones are 2 separate companies. Now, you're going to make your reservations through the same site, but because they're 2 different ones, the rules that 1,000 Trails put in place are a little gray. They don't make sense because they say in Encore you can stay 1 night or you can stay up to 14 nights at each Encore campground. Up to 14 nights in a row consecutive at the same spot. But as soon as you leave an Encore property, you have to be out of the system for 7 days. That means the Encore system. That does not mean the other dark brown 1,000 Trails campground. So 1,000 Trails has a different rule. If you stay, and some people have mentioned this, some people have not, but if you stay 4 nights or less in the 1,000 Trails just brown ones, not the add-on one, you can go from park to park to park to park to park to park year round if you want to travel and cover all of the missing spots. But 4 days or less, you can reserve on your up to 60 days in advance, park to park to park to park, and never be out of the system. 365 days a year camping is paid for your membership, okay? But obviously the resorts are nice, and since those have different rules, it's not really profitable to reserve 1 or 2 nights at an Encore resort. Because like I said, you still have to stay away from that for 7 days, whether it was 1 or 2 nights or 14 nights. So I watched a couple YouTube videos, and I'm not hating, but 2 different people said it's impossible to RV and only stay 4 nights and then be back on the road. I think somebody explained it as extremely brisk pace and impossible to enjoy life, moving every 4 days. I giggled because, again, it's all about perspective. It's about where you are with your RV life. You know, if you're a weekend warrior, if you're a full-timer, everybody is going to have a different interpretation of what brisk or too fast means. Now, for me, for nearly 5 years now, I move every single day, okay? 30 miles a day, a new site every day, a new camping spot every day. So ironically, the idea of staying at a campground for 4 nights is almost terrifying to me, like too long. Oh my gosh, I'm going to run out of stuff to do. I'm not. That's why I'm saying there's going to be changes to my channel with the motorcycle and being able to explore more. For instance, as we go south and I go down into Fort Lauderdale and Miami and the Keys, being able to park the RV in a very safe, gated, locked community at the RV resort and being able to explore on the bike gives me several days to do different things and to create better content for the channel, but also to keep me feeling a little less stressed about having to find a place to park. Again, please do all of your research and find out for sure about these rules, because the age qualified is weird, but also they're trying to sell the idea that, oh, you can do this 60 days in advance. You can make your reservations 60 days in advance. And I have. So for the first time in 5 years, I actually have the next 2 months of my life, my route, planned. This is strange that January and February, now 60 days, are planned based on the route of where the campgrounds are in Florida. Does that make sense? But speaking about the reservation process, here is the other surprise besides the age qualification, and that is that as a Thousand Trails member, we are allowed to reserve up to 60 days in advance. Some might say that's great. The problem is our reservation service, once you become a member, is different from everybody else out in the other world. So the RVs next to me, they might not be Thousand Trails. They can reserve up to like a year in advance. Therefore, when I went to look at everything south of Miami for the next 2 months, everything is booked and full. And I'm guessing it's going to be the same way in the wintertime over in Arizona. Because the calendar that you're allotted to select, it's grayed out everything past 60 days from now, right? So I can't even attempt to look. But I looked at just one night, and then leaving the next morning at some of those high-end resorts down south, and they're all full. There's no physical way to get them. And so the problem then becomes that in the summertime, possibly the same thing is going to happen up in Maine and New Hampshire and Washington State and even Wisconsin and Minnesota. Is there one in Minnesota? Maybe one in the bottom right tip of Minnesota. But the same thing may happen. You know, when we start making our reservations for like June 1st, it's possible that all of those are going to be reserved. And I am going to be very transparent in the coming months and this summer more about Thousand Trails. So I'm going to be letting you know. But in my initial experience here, I was unable to get anything farther south in Miami. But I got plenty. As a matter of fact, I have now booked 24 nights at resorts in the next 60 days in Florida. So I'm feeling really good. Remember, I only had to hit 10 nights to break even with my membership. So feeling really good about that. Plus, it's a reserved basis where you don't have to worry about it. You know there's going to be a site. And that brings me to surprise number 3 that I didn't know. Compared to a Thousand Trails member, or like I said, somebody else who is not and has made a reservation 9, 10, 11 months in advance for this park right now, I don't have an assigned spot when I make my reservation. I have an assigned class. So some RV parks may have premier camping, standard parking where maybe there's no dump sewer there, but there's a dump station on the way out. Maybe certain parts are considered the value campsites because they're closer to the pool or closer to the dumpster, or there's no Wi-Fi available. So certain parks definitely have areas that may be $5 difference. And for us, we get to sign up for those parts. The problem is we don't get a site. As a matter of fact, as a Thousand Trails member, and I just figured this out last night as checking in when I asked the question, is that let's say that there are 5 slots available and there's 5 of me. There's 5 of us Thousand Trails people that all have a reservation in the same category. Well, it's based on when you check in. If I'm first to check in, then I can either have my pick of which one of those 5 are left, or they're just going to assign me one. And I don't know that you can always pick which one of the 5. You can probably ask for the best one, but you haven't been assigned a site yet. When you get there as a Thousand Trails member, you are just assigned a slot in an area. So that's a little weird as well, okay? And something to definitely plan, because think of this. If you show up too early, then those good spots, they may not have left for the day. If you've shown up before checkout, there's going to be nothing to choose from and you're going to have a crummy spot. If you show up too late, though, the other 4 people may have already grabbed the best spots and you're still stuck with the last. So there has to be a good medium right in the middle where you show up just on time, 5 minutes early maybe, and make sure you're one of the first to get in there. One of the first, at least. See what I'm saying? So I thought that was kind of weird. I did not realize that we're being treated differently in the reservation process than the normal public, but that does make sense. Basically, what Thousand Trails is trying to do is fill up these campgrounds that would otherwise not be filled this time of year or later times of year. So that's why we can't book until 60 days in advance. But with that 60 days in advance, okay, so let's say December 28th, I can now look at February 28th, and I can book a 14-day stay somewhere starting on February 28th. And ending in the second week of March. Does that make sense? So they'll gray out the boxes past 60 days, but you can still start one, okay? Also, let's talk about camping in an Encore Resort like I am right now as far as checking out. So if today is December 28th, which is a Friday, okay? If I wanted to book another Encore one, it would have to be 1 week from now, which would be January 4th exactly. So on your checkout date, 1 week from then, you can book another Encore. You can do it in advance too, or you can do it same day. Yeah. Or you could also leave the Encore section, go back to Thousand Trails, and for tomorrow, the 29th, I could go stay, I think there's a couple in Orlando that are just part of the Thousand Trails. I can stay 4 nights there. And then still have my other Encore reservation for the 4th in 1 week. Does that make sense? So there's tricks to it, but actually I don't even really want to call them tricks or loopholes. It's just stuff that some people have not talked about or expressed about the package, about the deals, and how it might all work. And I can see why some YouTubers are very angry and upset with their videos talking about, it's full, I can't get a reservation, I can't even use this service. And all I have to say about that is, yeah, but you made your money back on your 9th night of the year. Why are you complaining on night 80 that you can't get this primo spot in Vegas or near Anaheim or Disney World, you know? For instance, just to let you know, the Orlando RV park that's owned by Thousand Trails here in Orlando, here around Christmas time, has like 13 openings for Thousand Trails members with no reservation. Like, you can book it tomorrow. So it's not always going to be the case, but you do have to understand that there's going to be some limitations, guys, with this. Also, Thousand Trails is not replacing anything else in my pocket of resources, okay? So I had mentioned before I used to be a Boondockers Welcome member. I'm not anymore because dealing with individuals, like individual privately owned houses, just didn't quite work for me. I am still a member of Harvest Hosts, which I love. That is free boondocking on wine, brewery, even some small town, hometown, family-owned restaurants and places like that around the country. That might be something to look into. That's $50 a year annually, and you get a pass. You have to call ahead, but I've used that so much on the road. I love my All Stays phone app that tells me which Walmarts and where some other free campgrounds are. That's a $10 app. I think there's a free version that doesn't do quite as much too. Freecampsites.net, the administrator over there runs a fantastic page over there, lets users update information live in case something's closed or the roads changed or the rules have changed or the hours have changed, dates, stuff like that. So I have a bunch of resources in my book, and Thousand Trails is not replacing any of that. It is giving me more options in some of these areas, like Florida, Texas, Arizona, Washington State, and look at the Northeast. I can't wait to go back to the Northeast and experience some of these campgrounds as well later in the future. So, anyways, just wanted to share that information. I am proud right now to be a Thousand Trails member. The things that got me down initially, I have now gotten over. I'm not sad about them anymore. I'm not stressed about it. Again, do as much research as possible, ask questions. If you have a question for me, please leave it below in the video description. If I missed something really important, again, leave me a comment in the video description. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. But Jackson and I are getting ready to head on south soon, so real quick for reference though, let me show you a little bit about what you get out of an Encore Resort, because I don't stay at too many places like this and I find it interesting. I do have the motorcycle covered right now. The main reason for being here was because we just got pelted with rain in Florida, and so since there's nothing else I could do, go to an RV park and hang out for the day. So this is a resort and you get full hookups, and right across from my RV is what they're calling the bathhouses and laundry rooms, and they're really nice. I actually did a little laundry. We'll go check it out. So nice showers and restrooms, and here's the laundry room. Nice and clean, washers, dryers, The only thing I don't like is the proprietary token system that you're finding at more laundromats, where you can't just put quarters in here. You have to purchase their tokens, and I guarantee you, no matter how you work this system, you're gonna walk away with useless tokens that are extra because of the way the system works, but it's okay. This particular park has both park models, like permanent, and RVs. Single wides and everything. This particular resort is Sherwood Forest. I'm gonna walk across the street here real quick. Putt-putt golf. They have horseshoes, putt-putt golf, shuffleboard, checkers and chess. You can leave your ID at the office over there and play all of these games. The office closes at 10, I think, and everything else around here closes at 10. But putt-putt golf right outside your RV, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna skip the clubhouse over there. They've got coffee, they accept mail. They've got a little shop. You can buy groceries. You can buy RV parts and supplies and stuff. So really convenient. Let's go over here though. So here in the clubhouse, they have a little game room. They've got pool. They've got ping pong. They've got some arcade games over there as well. We'll step into this other room. And they got a workout room in here too. All right, here is one of 3 pools and saunas at this park alone. And yes, that water is hot. I went in the hot tub this morning. I didn't film it. You might as well. It's part of your perks anyway. And I know what most of you guys are thinking. You're freezing up there in north, and you're like, Eric, really? December in a pool and a sauna? But it's nice down here. It's still 78 degrees today. Nice pool, cabana. They have a lounge there, so they serve food until like 5 o'clock. And behind that is the mail room, and they were playing bingo the other night. I love bingo. How fun is that? It's pretty awesome. So this is a resort, not to be confused with a campground, although maybe I'll find some campgrounds with just as many perks as well. In fact, my next one is very not like a resort. The next place I'm staying at looks much more primitive, with a lot of trees nestled and a lot less RV resort look. Does that make sense? So anyway, just wanted to show you my first Encore Resort, guys. And if you're already a Thousand Trails member, let me know in the comments below if you had good or bad experiences. I'd love to hear from you guys. Otherwise, I'll be heading on south. See you in a few days, guys. Bye-bye.